Alright guys, this video is going to be about the differences in multimeters. The last race I was at, I had a car that was just barely passing tech on the resistance. It passed, but it was at the absolute minimum. And if you have the ambient temperature be 5 or 6 degrees up or down, it's going to change the reading, and obviously your multimeters are going to change the reading. And I will show you the differences in a multimeter. What we have to deal with here is a $3 Harbor Freight special up to Snap-on Vantage. It's probably $2,000 tool back in the day. We're going to be using it's a straight stock, not balanced, not trued, not tampered with. Gold with gray tip pancake motor here. Alright, just sitting in here for demo here. Now we're going to go ahead and give you the resistance. You got to make sure that everybody does this when they go to read your arms, so you can do the math on the armature itself, because it could matter if you got an arm that you're testing at your house using your tools and it's coming up as 16.0 across all 3 poles, or 16.1 on 1 pole and 16.0 on 2 poles. You take it to the race and they measure it with their meter and it comes up 15.9 on 2 poles and 16.0 on the other pole. They're going to bump you on tech. But if you do the math on your meter and or their meter, and by math I mean each multimeter, there's resistance in the leads. Unless if you got a super expensive multimeter, there's a resistance in the leads. And you can see this one is pretty much 1/10 of an ohm. If we go ahead and measure poles, 16.1, 16.1, 16.1. So that's 16.0 on all 3 poles. It's using the big fancy Snap-on scan tool, or multimeter, excuse me. It's kind of a scan tool, if you will. This is the meter I use at work all the time. That's why it's super clean. But I brought it home and use it for this this video. Just give you an idea of the differences. Again, we'll touch your leads together here. We're at 1/10 of an ohm. So right there we're already illegal. If you minus that 1/10, we're at 15.9. 15.9. 15.8. So right there, that motor is illegal, just from 2 different meters. I use this Blue Point fully automatic multimeter, and by fully automatic I mean you just turn the thing on and it'll auto sense if it's AC volts, DC volts, or ohms. So it's not super accurate, but for basic around the house use it works fine. If you're trying to get down to the last 1/10 of an ohm on a motor, you might want to steer clear of these last 2. You can see come on, work with me here. There we go. 6 to 7/10. So we're going to minus 6 or 7 from what I got here. Just to measure it on the low side, or the high side, we're going to go 7/10 on it. That puts it about 15.8, 15.6, or 15.7, 15.8. That's the same. It's like I use the lower meters and it gets more illegal by the meter. So you see the difference. And again, .6 is off these wonderful leads that came with the meter. I'll use this guy here. Now, how are you going to test what the tolerance is on this particular meter? There's no leads. This meter here, you put the armature on these poles here. It does inline cars too, inline motors. But how do you know what it is? Oh. Let's shut that back off and reset it real quick. The 3/10 supposedly is the variance on this tolerance. So let's take the arm. It's be hard to compare which pole is what if you guys are keeping track, because obviously now we're flipped the motor over and moved it. But at any rate, we're at 18.5 minus the 3/10. 18.4. And 18.5. So this meter, this motor is super legal. So if you're using a lesser quality meter to test your arms at home, and when you get to the races and somebody breaks out with a, even a one you get at Home Depot or Lowe's is better than this, will be more accurate than this. Is going to be down the lines of something like this, maybe this, depending upon which brand they got or whatever they buy. But the resistance is going to be different, as you can see between the three. It's pretty kind of consistent. I mean, it's close, give or take a tenth or two. But when you're talking an armature like this little fella here that's sitting at 16.0, if I took this to the race and had them ohm it, chances are I'd probably get bumped, probably get disqualified. So having known that and said that, that arm probably won't get used. So I hope this video gives you a little help and a little insight on the differences in multimeters, and also for when you go to the races to make sure they're using the meter correctly, so you can make sure your arm doesn't get disqualified. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.